President Obama emphasized the strength of the U.S. economy in his last State of the Union address. But since then, market volatility here to stay. There are persistent concerns about a slowing global growth. And China, of course, backing that up by reporting its slowest growth in 25 years. IMF cutting its global forecast. Potential oil price collapse. Johnson & Johnson just out today saying it may cut 6% of its workforce in the medical devices division. Former UBS Americas Chairman Robert Wolf is with me now. Robert, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Deirdre. Good to be here.
So that's a long list of elements that investors have to consider, that they have to weigh. Is this a bear market year?
It certainly feels that there are incredible headwinds. I mean, talking China, they had their literally worst growth rates in 25 years, and they had their worst quarter since, before the recession. Oil, is just getting
Which is
crushed.
a carry-on. I mean, China's a huge consumer, so oil and all of the commodities, it just feels like keep being bid down.
Yeah. My biggest concern with oil is really you're seeing no capital investment, which is what actually brought part of the economy out of a recession. Oil was a major mover in it. Manufacturing went high. The dollar was weak. And now there's rumors of $300 to $500 billion of capital investment that will now be on the sideline because oil projects aren't moving forward. But on the flip side, it's better for consumers in many ways with oil this low. And now we are a net exporter instead of a net importer. So it's a very interesting time.
But I take your point on the reason that we're in such a privileged position is because we have made great strides towards energy independence. I want to ask you, though, about the labor force, because this does link to energy in my mind. When you say that investments in energy may slow, does that mean we will see job losses in the energy sector?
Listen, I think there's no question there's going to be job losses. Manufacturing is going to struggle with a strong dollar. The only sector in manufacturing that's not struggling has been auto. And part of that is because there's good financing going on right now. But away from that, I think we're in a very different environment than where we were pre-recession when we wanted a weak dollar. Now, for the most part, the Fed is doing something different than the rest of the world. We've been in a raising right environment. Everyone else is in an accommodative stance. And so I think we're going to be in an incredible volatile situation over the coming months, especially into the election rhetoric.
All right. Well, we don't take your words lightly since you had great responsibilities as chairman of UBS Americas. I want to ask you, Robert, you are an advisor to President Obama. You know the political machine well. We just heard that Sarah Palin has endorsed Donald Trump in his bid for president. What does that do to the race?
Well, I think it would probably be good for Hillary Clinton in the general if she's against Trump that Sarah Palin endorsed Trump. But for the Republican Party, listen, she is a well-respected conservative. Being a Democrat, it doesn't really mean too much to me. But what I'm listening to is that Cruz expected it because Cruz, she was campaigning for Cruz when he was in Texas. So it seems like it's a good nugget for
the party
Trump.
coming together. I'm just going to release this statement that the DNC has released. So I'll read this to you now. Americans deserve better than what Trump and Palin have to offer, but it seems like the other Republican candidates would rather follow in their footsteps. So that's a bit of a weird message, quite frankly, in my view. Syntax is even a little bit off. But what do you make of that?
My view is why I like Secretary Clinton is because she's focusing on foreign policy and the economy. I think all this rhetoric in between is just what it is. It's a lot of rhetoric in between. I think when I speak to my friends on either side, they actually want to understand where we can get the participation rate higher,
so, Robert,
where wages come up. Sorry,
taken a lot of heat, of course, for foreign policy during her tenure as Secretary of State. But because you brought up business, I want to play a few clips that we have. And this is basically Bernie Sanders targeting Hillary Clinton in the last debate.
Okay.
Actually, we're going to skip that clip because we just want to have more time with you, Robert.
Well, I think I know that clip.
You know that clip well. But, I mean, listen, he's saying, Hillary, you're so basically entwined with Wall Street. How can you be an objective leader when you are taking so much money for your campaign from bankers?
One, I don't think that statement holds water because Secretary Clinton was senator of New York. Financial services is a large part of New York. Of course, she knows the people in financial services. So my view is, this populist rhetoric doesn't work well on either side. Okay, this country's either center-left or center-right, and that's what's going to make the election go one way or the other. We still have the same dozen swing states, and whoever gets more votes in those swing states are going to win. My view is clearly Secretary Clinton is the better candidate, okay, to be our president, both on the Democratic side and the general side. And I think at the end of the day, she's going to be better for the economy. And if you look at her policies on things like infrastructure and increasing wages, that's actually what the debate should be on. No disrespect to Senator Sanders, but worrying about, you know, Wall Street, Wall Street, Wall Street. There's just more to the economy and argument than Wall Street.
I hear what you say about tossing out the populist rhetoric. That is advice every candidate can live by. Robert Wolf, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on. Great to see you.